Welcome back to Voice of Africa. I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another powerful and inspiring update straight from the heart of our continent. As always, I want to begin by making one thing very clear. Here on Voice of Africa, we do not support or promote violence in any form. Our platform is about peace, empowerment, and progress. The goal is to spotlight the developments that shape Africa's destiny, stories of resilience, innovation, and leadership that deserve a global audience. Today's story is nothing short of shocking, not because it's sensational, but because it reveals how quietly, strategically, and powerfully one African country has transformed itself. What we're about to dive into is the incredible rise of Burkina Faso's air power. Yes, you heard that right, under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. While the world may not have been watching, Burkina Faso has been secretly building one of the most advanced air forces on the continent. Let's unpack how a nation that once depended heavily on former colonial powers for basic defense has now become a formidable force in West Africa. Just a few years ago, Burkina Faso had no real control over its own skies. If the military needed to strike insurgents from the air, they had to ask the French for help. Even when permission was granted, French troops executed the missions with little input from Burkina Faso's own commanders. That's right. In their own homeland, Burkinabe leaders had no say over where, when, or how the Air Force operated. It was humiliating, frustrating, and dangerous. This dependency left them powerless while insurgent groups took over key territories, displaced millions, and terrorized communities. All that began to change in September 2022 when Captain Ibrahim Traoré came to power. From day one, he made it clear. Burkina Faso would no longer be anyone's military pawn. He understood what previous leaders had failed to grasp, that without control of the skies, you cannot truly protect your land or your people. And so, quietly and methodically, Traoré began building what is now one of the most sophisticated air forces in the Sahel region. He started from scratch. Before this transformation, Burkina Faso's air capabilities were extremely limited. Outdated helicopters, light attack planes, and a military that struggled to respond quickly to threats. Insurgents had the upper hand. They used remote villages, forests, and deserts as safe havens, launching attacks and disappearing before the army could react. It often took days for troops to reach some locations, and by then, the damage was done. Traoré's solution? Air dominance. He realized that to outsmart and outmaneuver insurgents, Burkina Faso needed eyes in the sky. 24/7 surveillance, rapid deployment, and precision strikes. And so, the government turned to Turkey, acquiring cutting-edge technology like the Bayraktar TB2 combat drones. Now, for those unfamiliar, the TB2 isn't just any drone. It's a global game changer. Used in conflicts from Libya to Ukraine, this drone offers unmatched capabilities. It can stay in the air for over 27 hours and scan vast areas of terrain with incredible accuracy. It doesn't need a pilot on board, and it delivers real-time intelligence, surveillance, and surgical strikes with minimal collateral damage. That's vital in a region where insurgents often hide among civilians. Within months of deploying the TB2s, Burkina Faso's military began turning the tide. In December 2023, a swarm of these drones eliminated over 400 insurgents near Djibo, preventing what could have been a devastating offensive. A month later, in January 2024, they destroyed an entire insurgent training camp in the north. And by March, drone intelligence led to the capture of several high-ranking extremist leaders. These are not just small wins. They are strategic victories that have reshaped the entire battlefield. Let me take a moment now to say thank you to our subscribers and members. Your support makes this channel possible. Your engagement, your comments, your shares, they help spread the stories that mainstream media often overlooks. Voice of Africa is growing every day because of you, and together we're amplifying a narrative of African strength, pride, and self-determination. Now back to our story, and trust me, it only gets more impressive. While the TB2 drones were effective for medium-range missions, Traoré and his team knew they needed a more powerful solution to reach deep into enemy territory. That's when Burkina Faso acquired the Akıncı UCAV, another high-tech Turkish combat drone, but one that operates at high altitudes and has a much larger payload. The Akıncı can fly at 40,000 feet, high enough to stay well above enemy anti-aircraft systems, and can carry long-range missiles, bombs, and electronic warfare equipment. It can even operate in poor weather and at night, thanks to its advanced radar systems. This drone isn't just about firepower, it's about control. It gives Burkina Faso the ability to take out targets far beyond its borders if necessary, dismantling insurgent camps, arms depots, and supply chains in a single, precise strike. These drones are also equipped with jamming and counter-drone technologies, which means they can disable enemy communications, destroy incoming drones, and even shut down explosive devices controlled remotely. In modern warfare, especially against agile, tech-savvy insurgent groups, this level of sophistication is a total game-changer. Still, Ibrahim Traoré understood that air power doesn't end with drones. Machines alone can't transport troops, evacuate the wounded, or provide close air support in complex, rapidly evolving combat scenarios. That's why Burkina Faso expanded its fleet of military helicopters through a strategic partnership with Russia. The country acquired Mi-24s, Mi-17s, and the advanced Mi-35M helicopters. These aren't just any helicopters, they are flying tanks, heavily armed and incredibly versatile. The Mi-24, for instance, can both attack and transport troops, allowing special forces to be dropped deep into enemy territory, provide cover, and return safely with hostages or wounded soldiers. This flexibility has allowed the military to launch lightning raids into places that used to take days to reach. Thanks to this upgraded air mobility, Burkina Faso's military now operates with speed, precision, and confidence. Ground forces are no longer sitting ducks. They are supported from above, able to call in air support when needed, and capable of reaching even the most isolated regions of the country. Insurgent groups that once operated with impunity are now constantly on the run, never knowing when or where the next strike will come from. And here's something else worth celebrating. All of this was done without foreign control. Unlike in the past, where military aid came with strings attached, this new force was built on Burkina Faso's own terms. Traoré didn't just ask for help, he partnered strategically, negotiated smartly, and invested in technology that gave Burkina Faso ownership of its defense. This is the kind of sovereignty many African nations have long dreamed of, and now we're seeing it become reality. Of course, this transformation is not just about weapons and warfare. It's about national pride, security, and the right of African nations to defend themselves without begging foreign powers for permission. What Ibrahim Traoré is doing isn't just military strategy, it's political independence in its purest form. Burkina Faso still faces many challenges. Insurgents remain a threat. The country's economy is fragile. But this new air force offers something more than just military strength. It offers hope. It shows that with vision, determination, and smart partnerships, African nations can solve African problems. No one is coming to save us, and we don't need them to. We are more than capable of saving ourselves. So let this be a message not just to the enemies of peace, but to all the people of Africa. The time of dependency is over. Leaders like Ibrahim Traoré are charting a new path, one where sovereignty, innovation, and resilience define who we are. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to like, share, and comment. Let's keep this conversation alive and strong. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Voice of Africa. Together, we are rewriting the narrative, one story at a time.